Real African stories and real African experiences. This is the Legally Clueless video series. And in this episode, Lynn shares her journey to becoming one of Kenya's top YouTubers.
So yesterday, I was somewhere having late lunch with two of my friends, I think around CBD, and there was this guy making coffee. His name is Mark. Mark is a barista at the restaurant is Beirut. So if you're in CBD, there's that big restaurant, it's called Beirut. So I was sitting this side, Mark was there on the other side, the barista making coffee. And then he comes on my table and he says, Lynn, I want to challenge you today. I'm looking at him like he has his milk, he has his coffee on the other side. And then he tells me, make something out of this, maybe a cappuccino. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, oh, he knows I was a barista. He has heard I was a barista. I was making coffees, I was doing cappuccinos, lattes, and all that. So I look at him and I'm like, okay, let's do this. But your coffee is cold, so we gotta go make fresh coffee. So we go to his machine, and while I'm doing the coffee, the usual guys who baristas, they'll understand, it brought a lot of memories, and and then I was like, oh my God, I would be making coffee still. You know, I would be a barista making people nice lattes, nice cappuccinos, macchiatos. There's nothing wrong with making coffee, but it's always that even during those days when I used to make coffee for people, I always had the urge to sit and tell stories. And the bosses came, and the amazing waitress and waiters, they came and they were all enjoying us making coffee with Mark. Shout out Mark. And I remember telling him, appreciate small beginnings. Be happy of your small wins. Do not take any job for granted. This might not be what you want in life, but if you dedicate yourself, you do it diligently, you do it with all the discipline there is in this world, then that's gonna lead you to your next hustle. So for those who do not know, my name is Lynn Ngugi, of course. I'm here, super legally clueless. Don't mind me going round and round. I'm also clueless. And I was brought up by an amazing mom. You guys, you've heard me before talking about my mom, a single woman, raising 4 daughters of her own, and she genuinely gave up her dreams so that we could be where we are today. I love you, Mom. And growing up was not easy, especially in Huruma. Shout out to all, I'm gonna say so many shout outs in this show. Shout out to the guys at Huruma. Growing up in Huruma was not easy, never easy. Especially when umekaa hapo kwa dirisha and you can see people, thugs, and wananyang'anya watu vitu, and you can't shout because you're like, if I shout, and these are people I know, they will come and they'll be like, mama shikoa, watoto wako ndio wanatuuza. So you would just be an observer when people were getting, thieves were doing their business, because you can't snitch. Do not snitch, or they'll come for you. But growing up in Huruma for me is the main reason why I do what I do. Because I always say, if you've experienced that life, it's easier for you to see stories and know, I lived this life. This was me a couple of years back. So my mom took us through school, me and my sisters. I'm the second born. And she insisted on education. She would genuinely, she's a businesswoman in Gikomba, and she would wake up so early in the morning, go to Gikomba, do her business, and then make sure you guys go to school. And we got chased out of school more than we were in school. So I was the kid where if the teacher comes and they want to say, I know many people don't know, my name is Pauline. So if the teacher comes and the first thing they want to do is get rid of the people who have not paid fees, they'll be like, Pauline Ngugi. So I used to stand even before they come, because I know I'm out. And then you will wait for the teacher to move around. So you just act nicely, you take your bag and you walk out. And then you time the teacher when he goes back to, and then you go back to class. And then he comes for round 2. I told you to go home. So it was cat and dogs. I mean, at that age, when you know, when the teacher comes and the first thing they will say is leave, you feel sad because you are a brilliant student. I was always among the top students. So sometimes the teacher would chase me, sometimes they would feel sorry for me. But at that period, when you're looking at the other students, you are like, God, when will it ever work out for me? But then you go home and your mom tells you, don't worry, tomorrow I'll have 1,000 and you can take it to school. So that was my mom, a dope woman, and she made it work for us. And I remember when I reached class 8 and performed really well, and I got called to a national school, and I could not make it because mom did not have the school fees to get me to school, to Form 1. And you know, I always say in Huruma, you are not enlightened. And bursaries are to who is who. So even if you go for bursaries and you don't know anyone, of course, no one is going to give you the bursary. So when I couldn't make it to high school and my mom came home and she was like, there's nothing I can do. You have to repeat. And I was like, Mom, no. Because my big sister was in high school, so there's no way she could manage to have 2 girls in high school. And she came and she's like, unajua sina pesa, mtoto wangu umepita and you have to go back. And I'm like, Mom, it's okay, I'll do it. Because for me, every time my mom would cry, I could do stuff just to make sure my mom doesn't cry, because I was used, like, I hate when I see my mom cry. It breaks me. Like, I would rather the whole world cries. Sorry, selfish as it is, but I do not want to ever see my mom cry again. So, of course, I went back to class 8, and I remember I went to Ndururuno Primary School in Huruma, and opposite Ndururuno is Moi Forces Academy. So you have a road dividing the rich and the poor. And I was like, God, I showed up with my small locker. It's when Kibaki said it's free education for all people. So I showed up with my small locker, and I had this really small locker, even this radio, I don't know, but it was so small and out of place. And I sat in front. So all the students, when they would pass, this new kid, wrong uniform, locker, But the teacher, Mr. Ochilo, who was my English and math teacher at Ndururuno, he's still there, an amazing teacher, was very kind. The structure was, if you pass, you sit in front. If you don't, you sit at the back. So we did exams that time, because I reported almost when they were doing exams, and I got 88%. I always nailed it in maths. I mean, I don't know what career would have come out of maths, but I would have been so good because I nailed it at maths and English, and the teacher was always like, so I got to sit in front with my friend Linda, and so now the students, they start loving you because you get to show them the homework, you get to help them with ABC, made it work. Again, I passed. I went to a very cold high school in Kinangop. Anyone who, the Mboshoris and the leg warmers are from Kinangop. I went there at Kinangop, the same pattern, you get chased and then you come back. Most memorable moment would be when I got chased for fees when I was informed to. My mom had transitioned from a shoe seller to a hawker. So we are at a round fire station. I call my mom, I've been chased from school, and she's like, kuja unipate pahali fulani fulani. So she had this bill. I don't know how hawkers do it, but they really do it. With their mizigo and kanjo, they really do it. So I'm there with my mom. My mom tells me to find her. So we are selling the shirts, and people are buying. So you move from this point, you run, you go to the other point, you run, you go to the other point. And I remember my mom sold almost 1,700 that day, and she bought me chips, the fries, at around Koja, and she akaniweka kwa tulaga, and I went back to school with my cool 1,500 to give the teacher. You are not chasing me. Here is the money, man. But seeing my mom hawk, that day I went back to school. I mean, your mom is hawking in town and she's counting the money to give you so that you can go back to school. And that did something to me. I went to school angry, like, God, I want to nail this for my mom. I want to nail this. And it was so School was nice. High school was nice. Cool people. And of course, we did our exams again. You pass, you can't go to uni because money. I hate poverty. I mean, poverty is so, I don't know. Yani shida ni shida. Adele, I hate poverty. Like, nachukia shida. Because you have this much potential in you and you can't even go to uni. Wanted to do law in uni. Because when you see Boston Legal, you see Suits, you see Harvey. Who doesn't want to be Harvey? Like, who doesn't want to terrorize people in a courtroom? Like, So I loved law, but again, I could not make it. So started my acting career, set books and all. You cram an entire set book. You go and act in schools. You get your 600 bob, and I would save kidogo, 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 kidogo. But then it's never enough. It's never enough. And one day when my mom came from Gikomba, she's like, I need you to go look for a college. I'm like, Mom, a college? Me, a college? I was like, Mom, how will you pay? She's like, I love my mom again. She doesn't know how she will, but she will. So I go, there's this school when we used to act, East African School of Media Studies at Teleposta Towers. And I remember I had gone there as an extra for changing times or something. One changing times, they needed extras and they used to act around that place. And I remember I have seen a journalism school. So this is me now. I went there and I got into the principal's office and I'm like, I want to enroll. I'm always late in school. You go when semester 1 isha unaingia semester 2. And I was armed. The school was 140K. My mom had given me 50K because her jobs in Gikomba had started opening up and now she's bringing in bails and things like that. So she gave me 50K. I'm armed. And I told the teacher. The teacher says, no, you can't enroll. You have to wait. I'm like, no, I'll catch up. I went there on a Thursday and on Monday I was in school. So that's where my journey towards media. I did not go because I wanted to do journalism. I went there because when we were acting, I saw people doing journalism, but then I always had that urge of news reporting. Catherine Kasavuli, Sophie Kenye, Aman Paul, they were like, hey, these women are doing it, man. So I enrolled in journalism school 2 good years. And you know what happens when you come out. It's hard. You cannot drop you drop audios, you drop CDs. Hey guys, I used to have a friend of mine, her name is Kate. We used to have the Spark show. So we even made a demo like, hey guys, my name is Lynn and Kate and welcome to the Spark show. Guys, we have Kanye West in the house. Yeah. So you do the demo and then you drop. I dropped demos everywhere in this country. All the media stations in this country, I dropped demos, but who is calling you back? Who is you? Who are you? I feel like every time they would read my CV or my demo, I always had this imagination. These people, the HR there, who is this girl? From which family? It's an illusion though. So after college, then we go dropping CVs for like 4 or 5 months. No one is calling you back. Your mom is giving you cash to go do the audios, and then you compile them. You even do a cover, and then you even do But after five or so months, I got tired because me and my friend Kate, we would go and drop everywhere. She has a voice for radio. So when we are dropping mine for TV and radio, we are also dropping hers. And then she got an attachment, but I did not get anything. So I think after 5 or 6 months, you get tired. And I had this amazing friend of mine, Gregory, and he has this film production company. It's called Kiwo Films. And he would constantly like, hey, you can do this, because I pitched to him a very wonderful show and they shot it for me pro bono. It was called Medical Journal. He shot it for me pro bono. So we kind of connected and he was a good guy. So I would go once in a while, talk to him, but you know, there's no money, man. Hakuna hata fare. So hata ukiitiwa kuja uone venye watu wanafanyanga hizi vitu and you don't have fare, you start giving up. There's always that moment in life where you feel like I've tried. I've done enough. I can't do it anymore. God, why have you forsaken me? Why is nothing working for me? This life, you know. But then you put on your Kanye West and you are like, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. And then you just give up. So during that time, I had a friend of mine in Dubai. So I started talking to her on Facebook. Her name is Jackie. And she was working in Dubai. So that's when she told me, come try and see if you can find a job here. So I went to Dubai, visiting visa. You go there with a visiting visa and you start tamaking. It's called tamaking. You're dropping your CV. Now you're applying for everything. Security guard. Security guard. You don't have the qualifications, but when they say yes, you will put on your arm and you're like, security guard, yes. Waitress, yes. What other jobs? How do you call the people who open the doors for you when you get into a hotel? They carry your luggages. Those ones. Yeah. Any job you apply, so you just change application for a job as a security guard. So you just do some few edits on the CV and you tarmac as you drop them. So we used to get into a group of 4. You tarmac because we used to sleep in a room like this. And it had like 8 beds, the deckers. So you pay a fee so that you can sleep there. And then you wake up and you go and tarmac. But Dubai, they know you're a visitor because your visa says tourist visa. So remember, you have 1 month. After 1 month and no one is calling you back, you go home. Luckily, few days to my visa expiring, Costa Coffee, they called me and they're like, because we had gone for an interview, and they're like, hi, we saw, we just wanted to let you know that you have gotten the job as a barista. And I'm like, whoa, I'm asking them, oh, yes, yeah. Oh, they're like, so we wanted you to come to the office so we can start preparing your documents. So it's 4 days to I think 4 or 3 days to the expiration of my visa. So when we went to the office, I told them my visa has expired. It's almost expiring. So they were like, no worries, we have accommodation. We start our job in 2 weeks, so you can move into our accommodation and then you exit, because now you have to come in with a work permit. So I exited to Oman, and then they paid for my ticket to Oman. I exited and then I came back to Dubai. And that's where my journey as a barista at Costa Coffee. Costa Coffee is like a Starbucks. So that's where my journey at Costa Coffee started. Got trained on making coffee. And it was an amazing journey, but you make coffee because you're standing 12 hours. You are like, no. You keep thinking, I could be a journalist back home, because everyone in your circle is like making it, you know. You see people are making it, and you love this job too, because you get to send back a bit of money here and there home. I always felt good every time I put money on my mom's, like sending mom money and then, mom, nimekutumia enda uangalie. Honestly, I used to love getting paid so I could call my mom and tell her, Mom, I'm sending you something. I loved that part. So even on this song by The Good Life, for the first 10 few years, when they say my mom won't pay rent no more, I always imagine my mom, not her, Bentley, not paying rent and all those things. But so you do this job you love, you start making friends, and I even met my ex-fiance. I met him there, and it was a nice place, but I got dreams. I want to go back home, man. So I went through a very bad depression that time, because you're showing up to a job you don't love, thinking of a job that you love. So it was very hard for me. So I quit. Like, when you work at a job you don't love because your mind is full of a job that you love, it's hard, because you have no family. I mean, your mom is not there, you can't call her. Your sisters are not, you don't even want your sisters to know you are suffering, or even your mom to know you are suffering, because she'll tell you, come back home. Your mom does not even know the job that you are doing there. To her, you are working in what, PR or something? I don't know, you know, because I can't let my mom know. But I have dreams to chase, you know, I have dreams to chase, and it will break her. So honestly, most of the times I wish I could call my mom. But then, as I said, I met this wonderful guy. Back then, he was wonderful. And we just kept encouraging each other. But it figured a point. I was making coffee in the morning and I'm like, I can't do this. God, I want to go back home and try again. So I quit, came back home, armed with trying again. I've come back home so many times. This is the only time I've stayed. Came back so many times. It did not work. After 6 months, I went to Qatar. My boyfriend in Dubai, he had moved to Doha, so he had found a good job for me at Doha. So I went to Doha to work there, Qatar Foundation, and they also had this nice coffee place. I always say my end goal is to have a coffee. I've loved having coffee shops. So I went there also. I operated in this coffee shop. It's called Monty's. We were the first, me and my brother Andrew, an amazing guy we still talk to date. You would wake up early in the morning, you go set the display, the croissants and the cakes, the cheesecake and strawberry sauce. And nice guys would come and buy coffee and they would tip you. And I'm like, God, it's raining now. People are awesome here. They would tip us and it was awesome. So, Adele, you can't do it again. No matter how much you love it, you can't do it. But I saved quite a lot of money. A lot was almost 700K. To a girl from Huruma, 700K is no joke, yo. It's not joke. It's no joke. So I had saved that plus the one they give you the eggs, because we used to work for Qatar Foundation and it was nice. The pay was nice. The apartments were beautiful. We were living the good life because it's Qatar Foundation, you. So you're living a good life. So I saved almost 700K. So I had quite a bit of money when you put together with your saving. I came to follow my dream here and I was like, now I need to go production full force. Oprah Winfrey is here, guys. Say no more. So I called my guy Gregory and I pitched to him my idea, the Kilimani Moms Show, because we had this group called Kilimani and stories zilikuwa zimewaka hivyo. But I knew, and this is why I love doing what I do. In between words, people are in pain. So no matter how vulgar or profane this group was, there were people who actually found comfort by opening up in those places. People are talking about domestic violence. People are talking about rape. People are talking, they appear funny and gossip, but I could see something is not right here. People have stories. So I went pitched to Gregory Kio again, and I'm like, I have this idea. You know, I love Gregory because he always said, Lynn, do it, let's do it. So we go to Power 254, we get the hall, post it on Facebook, and people come for the show. Women come and they volunteer to come and tell their stories. Adele, we had around circle, a semi-circle. And I was there standing now like Oprah Winfrey, interviewing people, and you have your audience. And we had catered for, the production was free, thanks to Gregory, from the cameras. I had 13 people in my set. Even today, I'm yet to reach that level of production. I had someone asking me, Lynn, are you okay? Is your makeup okay? I'm like, oh my goodness. Someone is, Lynn, your mic is okay? Oh, I had someone on the lights, on the sound. Oh God, even today, I dream of having such a set one day, because that's the closest to magic of production I've ever seen. And Gregory did all that pro bono, called his community of filmmakers and producers and directors, and they came to my set for free, and we shot Kilimani Moms Show, brought to you by Lynn Ngugi. Where? Shot good episodes, put the pilot on YouTube, and then my audience, they laugh at this part. And then I was served with a trademark infringement notice, copyright, from a very big media house here in Kenya. Said they had copyrighted Kilimani Moms, so I could not use it on the show. And we had put the pilot for 2 days and it was trending. And I open on YouTube and my show is gone. My YouTube account is gone. And I have a letter. And I just called the media house and I'm like, why? This is my dream, you. And the lawyer from the other end was so rude. There's that part of me that wants to ask that lawyer, how does it feel now when you see me doing exactly what I dreamt of? But then there's that part that tells me it's not worth it, because I never thought I would have a bounce back. This is the bounce back. Never thought I would experience a bounce back. But there's always that part that tells me to walk into that media station and tell them, why would you do this to someone you know? It was struggling. All my savings, all my dreams were in that show. And creators, copyright your work, patent your work, do whatever you can, own your intellectual property. And I felt broken because I was counting on that show. I knew this is the breakthrough. But God had plans. As much as Kilimani Mom's show was a good idea, I don't think that's the legacy I would have wanted to leave behind, because so many things happened around that name. I don't want to think that maybe God was saving me from the name, you know? He was saving me from so many things, but at that point I saw it as, this is a battle between the rich and poor, between the who is who. Do I look like lawyers? Like, who am I calling? Haminwa? No, Orengo? No, who am I calling? Who knows? Nobody. You can't even pay. I mean, this is a show that everyone is banking on. Quality, sound. Even today, I'm yet to reach that amount of production. And everyone knew we had a concept and we were winning. And I called Gregory, I explained to him. Gregory is very positive. He calms me down. Like, because I was there. And he's like, let's see, let's work around it. And I remember the admin of Kilimani Moms, her name is Lynn. She's a lawyer also, one of the top companies here. So there was hopes, because even when I was shooting, I had DM'd her and I was telling her I want to do this, and she gave me her full support, you know. So when I DM'd her, they did what lawyers do, you know, and then it reached a time where everyone went quiet. So Lynn, I'm not paying Nziza. She's doing this pro bono. She has a family. She's a mom. She's also working. And you have these rude people who are just writing emails. It's like they want to finish you and show you is nothing. Who are you again? Kwanza, the lawyer, Adele, the lawyer was like, you need to understand, you can't just take people's. And I went to the copyright. And I'm like, why? It's Kilimani. Even today, I still ask questions. It's Kilimani Moms. Kilimani is geographic. Moms is generic. Who copyrights that in this country? It's a lie. You cannot copyright a geographic name. As who? You know? You see, again, when you've put all your money and people are now starting to move different directions, you give up. So I gave up a good one. Went into serious depression. That time I'm in depression. My relationship is also falling apart. So I was dealing with an engagement ring that I did not know where to take. And I was also dealing with a dream that had been taken away from me. So, ilikuwa ngumu when people talk about mental health. And you see someone has pulled themselves out of that place. Acknowledge it. Because it's not, that dark place is not a good place to be. And as I said, my mom had given me all the support. It was my time now to support her. And I felt like there's nothing I can do. So my friend Edwin, who we went to school with, he called me one day, 2017 August. And he told me he needs a reporter at Tuko. So I went. I was going for the money. I need the money. I need this money to pay rent. I need this money to buy food. I need money to survive. Right now, I'm back to doing things for money. I'm like, this dream doesn't love me. What did I do to you? I tried and the dream is gone. So Edwin calls me and Tuko needed a reporter. And I went there and I reported the Sonko Kidero, and they loved it. And my amazing leader, he doesn't work there anymore, but he was called Saveli. He really loved what I do. He's the reason there is this part of my life right now, because he called me and gave me a job. And he believed in my dream. And he was constantly telling me, me and my team, like, what you are doing, guys, will work. But I made it clear also to him, I can't report on some of the things. I want to have a path of my own, one that is less traveled. I want to tell human interest stories. And I say he's a wonderful leader because when I started showing him the kind of work I was interested in, another leader will tell you, no, because gossip sells in this country. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So I was expecting him even to fire me because the work I was doing was not bringing in the numbers. Who want to hear a story of, oh, sijui, my wife is suffering from cancer, or my wife has been in a coma for 7 months and I've been taking care of her. Who wants to hear? What numbers are there? So even when we were bringing in 14 comments on YouTube, 1,000 was a lot, 900 and something, he was there cheering us on and even telling us which ideas we need. So Saveli, I know he will watch this. He's such a huge fan of my work. He actually believed in my dream. And that's when I went fully on doing human interest stories with the backing of the amazing guys at Tuko, and we started doing stories. And then one day when we put on the story of how street women in Kenya deal with periods, and I woke up to people commenting and sharing and getting my name right. Ati una dem anaitwa ni Lynn nani? Lynn Ngugi ni sister ya Ngugi. I'm like, no, guys, I'm not, but you're getting my name right. So here we have, people are starting to get my name right. And that story on how street women deal with periods opened a door for me in this field. I felt like now people started going back to watch some of the work that I had put out. And people started even now DMing me on Facebook. I upload a photo and we have 40 likes now. This is good. And people started now subscribing to our YouTube channel. And we created amazing work together at Tuko. But then in 2021, during COVID was one of our hardest years because my boss operates from Ukraine that time, Savili. And we were at the verge of also giving up because content, journalism, COVID, it's scary, you know? And we used to have emergency meetings with my boss that time. And we thought of, let's just tell stories that are happening right now, even during this COVID and stuff. And that's why it's important to have a good boss, because when you feel like you are crashing and he shows you there's still hope, it kind of motivates you. So my journey at Tuko ended 2021, 3 months ago, 3 months, few days ago, 3 months and few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. And I could not have been more prouder of the work that me and my amazing team, Edu, Devi, Yukabeth, Chebet, Bebeto, Kevin, we put out some amazing work together. But I felt the need to also own now full ownership of my intellectual property, because I'm like, these stories I'm telling are beautiful. I don't want people to manipulate the way I tell stories. I don't want people to own my stories. I want to be a full owner of the content that I produce because I want to be answerable to my audience. And when I resigned, my boss had resigned a day prior when I resigned. And for me, I felt like I could not create content without him because we had worked together nicely for close to 5 years. So I felt like he was my creative partner. So when I heard he's leaving, I was also, because it came as a shock, I felt broken. So I knew it was time for me to, because you know when they say God sometimes will make environments uncomfortable for you so that he can elevate you. Hallelujah. So I felt like it was my time by force, by fire to leave. But I had always been prepared because my boss had always encouraged me to have my own YouTube channel, put my personal content there, and he was very supportive at it. And when I quit, I did not think it was going. It's not easy, but I was not expecting the support that I have gotten from people. When I did the video on living and put it on my channel, I went offline until 3 a.m. because I knew hapa hata 10k views hakuna kitu tunafikisha hapa. I wake up and we are on 200k views and we are trending, and I'm like, people are encouraging me and sending me texts and telling me, Lynn, you can do this, we believe in you. And when I wake up and I saw the comments, there's this lady, she sent me an amazing poem, and her name is Angela. We've never met on email, and she sent me this poem of starting and canvas and now building back the pieces together, creating my own canvas. I felt like it's time. It's time, because I always knew I was meant to be great. That's not even a coincidence. Unapologetic about it. I always knew I had to speak big about myself. I had to manifest big things for myself. Not in terms of cars or houses, but big things in terms of my stories and production, and going beyond Kenya to tell these stories, and going outside Africa and telling these stories all over the world. I knew I was meant for big things. So I felt like I could not be, inaitwa aje, singefungiwa tena. I felt like the space I was at was the room was getting too small for me. And then I felt like, now I need to break. The shells now, I need to break. I could not be contained. But it comes with a lot of fear. Like, what if I fail? But what if you succeed, yo? Like, what if it doesn't work for me? Will people laugh? Will people be like, nani alimwambia atoke? Alikuwa anatoka. There were a couple of words said here and there, like, she can't make it. And it breaks you, because at that point, what you're looking for is, Lynn, you got this. And this is why it's important for you to know, you can't please everyone, and not everyone will vouch for you. And when you hear those, she can't make it, I'm like, allow me to reintroduce myself. Because I believe God doesn't give you a dream, or he won't give you a gift and not show you. He will actually show you. He got you. This is my gift to you, my child. This is my gift to you. I gave you this. I'll take care of it. So I constantly say, when God gives you a gift, he will take care of it. And fear, because I had procrastinated on starting by myself for a whole year. I would have these back and forth conversations with my friends, like, guys, I feel like I need to start something for myself. But then I'm like, hii salary na nisipopata. We, mi niko na nyumba ya kulipa. You see, it's those things. You gotta pay rent. You have bills to take care of. But I said, how long will I work for bills? How long will I work for rent? How long will I work for credit? How long will I have to be big than this? And you see, the best part is, when you fail and you tried, it kind of gives you the satisfaction that, thank God I tried. Thank God I tried. And I was full of fear for an entire year. So full of fear that I will fail. But it reached a point where I'm like, fear, let's do this. Let's fail, man. If we are failing, let's fail. But we are trying this thing. We are going out and we are trying this thing. And it's not as easy as said as done. Because in my life, I always knew I wanted to be where I am right now. But it has taken me 10 years. 10 good years from 2011 to now to finally feel safe. And finally look my dream in the eye and say, my friend, we are going to do this. Because it has always been, I know I can, but I'm scared. I know I can, but what if? I know I can, but Lynn, it won't work. And I know even some people who are watching right now, they're on that point of their lives where they feel like you are working, you don't genuinely love what you are doing, but you have to do it because you have kids to feed, you have rent to pay. And I always tell someone, don't quit without an exit strategy. I had mine for an entire year. Don't quit. It's just that I would have stayed for another year had my boss not left. So if you're in a place and you don't love and you feel like there's something I love doing and this is not it. Allocate some time to your dream, 2 hours. If you want to be a presenter or a YouTuber or anything, just give yourself 2 hours in a day to study about it. Because also YouTube is not as easy as people think. It involves a lot of things. It's not just a matter of shooting yourself and uploading a video. It involves a lot of things. 2 hours every day working towards your dream. Have an exit strategy. Save. Don't be those people who will quit their job na madhara hata hii job ikunisaidia kwendeni huko. Hii job yenyu hata sikuwa naitaka endeni huko. Have an exit strategy. Don't be mean because you know you have an exit strategy. Don't burn bridges, but go out and chase your dream. You are not answerable to people. You are answerable to God and yourself. So if God gives you a gift and you feel like you can't do it, you are doing a lot of injustice in yourself. Yeah. I always say it's good to speak big things into your life, manifest them. Because let me ask you, if someone is driving a Range Rover, how did they get that Range Rover? See, there must be a way. Okay, see, wash, ama whatever, like that. If someone genuinely got a Range Rover and you can see their pattern and habit, it shows you it's possible. It's possible. Tyler Perry owns a studio house right now. Like an entire, like a big one. I saw it and I look at Oprah. Yeah? I mean, even if you are not to go all the way to US, look at you. Look, this is legally clueless. This is something you've built for yourself. The dream, just, it's not even big enough to explain. Because when you think it's big, it gets bigger. I feel like one day, I just want to be there sitting with Amapo and telling her, I used to watch you as a kid. You know, I feel like I want to genuinely sit with Sophie Kenya and tell her you inspired me, you know, or just Catherine Kasavuli and feel like this is amazing. Or just be like, I know we are with you right now, but Adele, you brought authenticity into this platform. I mean, you came out and you were unapologetically yourself. And you were like, who is this Adele? Who is Adele? Ati Adele Nani? And people would just, if from, is it 1FM? 1FM, those days, all the way to Radio Africa, and people would be like, you came out and you showed young girls like, there is no limit. I don't want to put limit to my dream. I don't even know what this dream entails myself. It's too big, it scares me. Even where I am today, I'm on your set, yo. I'm on your set. It's not something people take lightly. Another time I'll be on someone's set. Another time I'll be on someone's set. You cannot put limits to this dream. I look at myself sometimes, I'm like, am I ready? Lynn Ngugi, are you ready for what's coming? Are you ready for what's coming? But then the ability to stay humble while you're at it. Because again, at this stage, and I tell creators, don't ever forget where you came from. I go to Huruma. I know our house. I know how life felt in that rectangular, square house. Moja. I know how it felt to put our double decker here, our chair here, our stove there, our bed our what is it? Nguo zetu tunazipanga kwa ukuta. I know how it's humbling, but don't also fear getting out of that square and living in a mansion. The world is yours for the taking. Go out there and conquer the world. Don't let yourself be scared. I was watching, I'm a fan of Tom Bilyeu, and on his episode Impact Theory, he brought Lisa Nichols, and he said, the mind, you know, the mind has been conditioned to protect you. So even when you're making an extra step, the mind wants to keep you safe because it's not experienced to this amount of, we are going now. It will keep you safe, so it will hold you back. No, but go down there, fail, fall hard. Because if you fall hard, only then will you experience what's on the other side, you know. And I also love listening to David Goggins, and he says, what we are doing right now with our mind is 40%. Can you imagine? Even when you feel tired, even when you feel like giving up, that's only 40% of your mind doing the work. And David Goggins says, have you experienced the 60%? We are talking about a Navy SEAL who used to be a bodyguard to the president of Iraq. We are talking about one of the strongest men alive. If you see David Goggins back then and you see what he is right now, you are like, there is no limit. He says, you can't hurt me. Don't let fear hurt you. There is actually no limit to what you can be. There is no limit. And for me, I had to put in a lot of work to my mind, because mindset for me, it's everything. I had to understand what my conscious mind is and what my subconscious mind is. I had to be the one to control my mind. Because when you can get to that point where you are the one controlling your mind and not letting your mind control you, then you know, no matter how hard life is going to get, you can always maneuver around. As compared to if your mind says stop, you stop. If your mind says don't leave this job, you won't leave this job. But your mind is yours to control, not the other way around. So read also, it helps. I started reading at a very young age, and that's why maybe my times even in high school and college and making coffee in between, it was easy because I was armed with a bit of knowledge here and there. And right now, the internet has made things easy. You can even read via your phone. So there are no excuses, but also appreciate. You know, I started this story with Mark, and I remember I was telling him, appreciate your small wins. When you make a latte and this latte is perfect, clap for yourself. Because my friends used to tell me I have a problem. I don't take compliments. Even when BBC named me among the 100 influential women this year, I tried downplaying it. And then there's this friend of mine who's Nessie. She's like, celebrate yourself. You learn to celebrate yourself. I downplay my wins, and I'm also learning to clap for myself as compared to having people clap for you. Downplaying your success does not make you humble. It makes you scared because you feel like, I won't lie, I felt I was not deserving of that. I was not deserving to be on that list. I'm looking at Chimananda, I'm placed next to her, and I'm like, hi, these people, this is so far-fetched. But I had to remind myself, you knew you would get here. You prayed you would get here. You prayed of the day you would ever be in this space. So how comes when the wins we prayed for last year, when those wins come, we still feel undeserving of those wins, you know? Even for me, I had to figure out that downplaying your success is not the same as you being humble. And there's no shame in clapping for yourself. But don't stay at that moment for too long. Don't stay there for too long. Don't go, oh, guys, I'm on BBC, most influential. I mean, you'll just look at it and you'll be like, Adele was there. Adele was there. So I'm just like, but also appreciate your small wins in life. It's very important for you to tick. Go treat yourself to an ice cream. I made it. After here, I'm going to Two Rivers because I feel like I need a moment by myself to take it in. I feel like people have told me, but I have not told myself. So I gotta go do something that I love today. Buy a book, have some ice cream, and say, on to the next one. And as Obama said, dreams are valid. No, Lupita, dreams are valid. And yes, you can. So don't be scared of even venturing into life by yourself. So, yeah. Clueless. Tumeongea sana. Situmalize hii kitu.
Thanks for watching this episode. Remember, you can catch new Legally Clueless video episodes every Friday and new audio episodes every Monday.